Good evening, folks. Welcome to another Warhammer Age of Sigmar 1000 point battle report, hosted by Semi-Casual Gaming with your host Nathan, bringing to you today the cities of Sigmar facing off against the legions of Nagash. I'm going to do a bit of a shortened intro, at least try to be a little bit shorter than it was for my last one. The cities of Sigmar army is going to be the same models, which would be the General Celestial Battle Mage on Celestial Hurricanum. Say that 3 times fast. Great swords, handgunners, free guild guard with halberds, 30, 20, 10 respectively. However, this time this city is going to be the City of Hallowheart, which is the caster city. They'll be equipped accordingly. I will post the full list in the comments below. And as you might have noticed, however, the vampire was tired of getting its butt kicked, not to spoiler alert the last reports, so he brought out a good friend. Welcome to the channel for a first time debut, ARKHAN the Black, riding his lovely steed with his little ghostly companions. The armor itself is not fully painted yet, so I apologize. I mean, luckily my camera is blurry enough you can't quite tell. Bringing with him for the grand host of Nagash, we have a Necromancer in support, followed by, we're going to have 30 skeletons, all the spears. There's going to be some swords in the back, but this is all the skeletons I own right now. 20 zombies, because again, these are all of the basic troops I own right now, and 2 Morghast Archai. Now this is the version of the Morghast that gets the 5-up, feel no pain versus mortal wounds only. As you see, they're equipped with the dual spirit swords, so they're going to be backing up Nagash. I know I dropped the Hex Wraiths, which in the last 2 reports that they were featured in, they definitely did a lot of work, but I kind of felt like it'd be fun to show off a couple other of my other models. And yep, so again, full list in the comments below. And the mission type for today is going to be the Blade's Edge. So let's see if I can find all the treasure chests. There's one there, one hiding behind the terrain here, dead middle of the field, dead middle of the field, another one hiding behind the train over there, and one sitting over there. As a recap, for those who don't know the mission type off the back of their head, it is basically it's just 1 point per objective, no fancy stuff beyond that. But the start of the second battle round, whoever goes second picks 1 objective and removes it from play. So it is important to keep in mind who needs to go first or second, because you could possibly lose points getting a double turn in this type of a scenario. So alright, that's my hopefully shorter intro. We're going to roll off now really quick to see who gets to go first. We will deploy accordingly, and then I'll do the end of first turn report. So, blue is Legions of Nagash, yellow, Cities of Sigmar. Let's see who goes first. It is Legions of Nagash, turn 1. Deployment, then we go. And deployment really quick before ARKHAN gets rolling. You've got Morghasts in the back with zombie support, ARKHAN in dead center, because let's be theatrical. Necromancer right behind supporting the skeletons. And then to the other side of the table, you got halberdiers in the front, handgunners, battle mage in the middle, because big guy versus big guy. Not that either one of them actually want to fight each other. The general is hanging out with there, supporting the great swords who are lining up, rearing to face off. So, alright, bottom or top of 1, Legions of Nagash. Okay, middle of 1 after Nagash's, or ARKHAN's turn, but the Legions of Nagash turn. It was very uneventful. You know, most of their spells are debuffs, so they don't reach anything in the first turn. So, the Necromancer gave skeletons the Van Hells Dance Macabre, which is Macabre, I don't know how you pronounce it. The Dance Izzle, with the marker here showing that. And ARKHAN just basically cast Mystic Shield for all 3 of his casts. For those who don't know, he has a special rule stating that he can cast Arcane Bolt or Mystic Shield any number of times, even if another wizard's already cast it. So I basically gave the Morghast himself and the skeletons Mystic Shield. The only dispel attempt that the cities did not succeed. So otherwise, everybody moved forward or ran forward accordingly, just to kind of create the dead wall here. All 3 objectives are officially claimed by them, so they will get 3 points, heading into bottom of 1, Cities of Sigmar. And end of turn 1, so magic was completely shut down by Archon with his +2 to dispel. I actually rolled really high, but Archon rolled higher, so no magic got off. Everyone shuffled forward except for the greatswords, which I ran forward just so they are on the other side of a blocked wall to kind of mitigate any damage should Legions of Nagash get to go next. I shuffled the Huracan forward and with the intention of using Storm Shemtek, and I only got one mortal wound off on Archon with the 6-up Deathless Minion save. I gave it to himself. At least my understanding is that he gets it as well, being within, the 18 inches of him. I will have to double check that, though. I'll do that off camera. Otherwise, the handgunners opened up. The marksman aimed at Archon and missed somehow, because, giant flying beast, but it's a handgun, or a long rifle. And 3 zombies got shot off. They are staying right there, though, because they are probably going to get regenerated at the start of the Nagash turn. So, otherwise, they moved up enough so that all 3 objectives of theirs are claimed. So, we're going to go ahead and call it. So it's 3 and 3. And now we're going to find our dice so we can roll. Hid them right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the turn roll up and then picking the objective off the table. So blue wins ties. Oh, Nagash is definitely going to go first. So we're going to go ahead since we're going to take out this middle objective here, making the zombies be forced to shuffle out of the way or what have you. So that is one objective off the table. However, it is Archon's turn to return fire and Nagash to charge forward and do whatever they need to do. So, top of turn 2. Okay, middle of 2. So, the Necromancer cast the Overwhelming Dread to give -1 hit to bravery to the halberds. Archon went off on his Curse of Years. He got 5 6s on the first roll, and I thought, oh my gosh, the great swords that I targeted are dead. And then he rolled no 5s or 6s afterwards, so they only lost 5 guys. However, the Morghasts decided to do a cheeky long charge. They got 3 inches away from the great swords, but rolled really high, so the Huracanum was left exposed. However, as you see here, they only did 4 damage, so they whiffed on their attacks, and then everything else was within punching range, including the general and the great swords, and they got chopped apart. Now, not to be fair, they failed a lot of saves. They should have saved a lot more than they did, but either way, this is why you don't throw them out there, because that was about a fifth of the army points just executed summarily. So plus now they lost the access to a third treasure since the middle one was removed earlier. They only got 2 points this turn, so it's 5-3 Cities of Sigmar. However, they have all 3 of theirs still to play with. So in the meantime, bottom of 2, Sigmar. Okay, so bottom of turn 2, so the Celestial Battle Mage cast the Ignite weapons and gave it to the handgunners. Archon failed. I'm going to keep calling him Nagash, but Archon failed to dispel. He also tried to cast the Chain Lightning, but rolled double 1s, so that just didn't go off. The Great Swords moved forward. I actually left them sitting here. I mean, kind of more of a cheeky play, but at this point they are ahead on points, and they're going to stay ahead until the Undead react. So, as the Undead player, I made a mistake by falling back, because now, especially if they go first again, they're going to lose another objective, and then they're really out of position to try and reclaim any more objectives. So, anyways, Great Swords moved forward for an easy 4-inch charge. Just needed to roll a 2 and a 1. And I got Snake Eyes, so they ended up failing their charge, which is probably the only reason why those zombies are still around. 4 of them got shot off the table, but there will be 4 more coming back on shortly, so presuming that the Undead go first. However, it is now the time for the next roll-off, so see who goes first. Oh, double turn, so the Undead get to steal and take an objective away, and I think we'll actually take away this back one here without moving all the terrain around. Reason being that there's no real feasible way that they're going to reclaim that objective, or not even claim it to begin with. I mean, yeah, kind of obvious that the greatswords are going to run forward, but at least they don't get to rack up points sitting back there. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and do the double turn City of Sigmar, turn 3. Okay, middle of 3, and yeah, the greatswords made their charge this time. Magic was ineffective. Shooting plunked off another 4 guys. Um, Archon was able to deflect the marksman this time. Everyone else stayed put again just to rack up points. And now they have clearly controlled that objective now. They left one alive, so with my command point, he's going to have insane bravery and hang out so I can regenerate a few of the zombies back. So we'll see how much more we'll get out of them. In the meantime, it is now 3 points, so it's 9-5. Legions of Nagash, bottom of 3. All right, middle of 3. The skeletons they ran up because realizing the error of falling back, they've got to get out and start doing something. Zombies got 6 guys regenerated back. And then Archon decided to try and take out the general, which he should do easily, right? No, of course not. The mount failed to even wound. They only got 2 wounds onto the 5 wound general, who then rolled enough to almost kill him, but due to that 6-up, feel no pain, he managed to hang on barely, but he has got 1 wound remaining. Kind of makes me wish I took Violent Transference this game, but that's just how it goes. So, however, Archon set himself up in such a way where the greatswords were actually being pulled apart, so they couldn't completely consolidate, and as a result, 1 zombie stayed alive. And again, we're just going to use the 1 command point on both teams to prevent them from running. The greatswords lost a bunch of guys due to Archon's magic. He did another 5 mortal wounds by Curse of Years. And then I forgot to mention from last turn he did 2 mortal wounds with arcane bolts. But this time he cast Spirit Gale and actually did 2 mortal wounds and then did Arcane Bolt for another wound. So, I mean, he did 8 more damage. That's why there's 5 of those guys left. However, yeah, it's looking like the undead are going to be falling apart probably really soon. Luckily, there's a character nearby to half regenerate him-ish, hopefully. It also, of course, depends on the barrel. Plus, there's 2 great swords within 6 inches to Archon's 1, so they still control that objective. So they only got 1 point. So now it's 9-6 at the bottom of 3. So turn 4, we're going to see. Oh, helps if I differentiate the dice. And whoop, the undead get another turn. And looks like we're going to go ahead and which one should we take away? Okay, so Legions of the Gash. Top. All right, middle of turn 4. So the zombies revived another 5 guys, but the greatswords just chopped them down. Archon casted Curse of Years, actually got it off on the Heart Column to try and snipe, and got 0 mortal wounds in the roll, so kind of disappointing for that, but that's just how that goes. He then cast Spirit Gale on them, which killed 1 guy, and then Arcane Bolt attempt onto them, but because he was so crippled, he wasn't even getting bonuses, so he still failed that spell roll. Skeletons went forward, charged into that mess, daisy chaining behind so that they could get the 6-up invuln for feel no pain, from the Necromancer. They didn't do as well as I was hoping. I mean, spears, with that pretty weak attack. But anyways, they did 4 damage to the Hurricanum, or was it 4 or 2? No, 2 damage, that's right. They only did 2. They killed off 4 handgunners. So we're going to quickly roll, and on the blue die, 4 plus 1 is 5. That's still below their leadership, so they're bravery, so they're fine. they're completely wide open now for a counterattack from the Free Guild Guard, and those guys are now loose to go after either ARKHAN or the Necromancer, whatever they darn well feel like. So they also did fall far enough away, I believe, now that they got 1 point there, and there are actually more skeletons on there, so they actually have 2 points here, putting them to, what do you put it to? They were at 5, now they're up to 7, so it's 7 to 9. Um, Actually, no, it's 8 to 9 because they got 1 point last round, so, yep, 8 to 9, bottom of 4, probably end of game coming short. Okay, bottom of 4. So the Free Guild Guard charged in. Archon's dead. The Storm of Shemtek did 5 mortal wounds to his 3 hit points left and just killed him. I just left him there because too much movement. So the Great Swords actually went over to go claim that objective, but then came back and charged to try and kill this guy and only did 3 wounds. Man, my combat's just not nearly as frightening as it has been in the last couple of reports. So. Um, you know what? I just realized I didn't even fight with the Necromancer. So let's hey, guess what? You guys could watch it really quick. He's got 1 attack hitting on 4s. Okay, he missed. Same as the Necromancer did nothing. Skeletons punched through, got 3 more wounds off on the Huracan. They almost got it. They dedicated the rest of their attacks into the Free Guild Guard, killed 6, and then they lost a big handful in return. With the character, they're still within range of him, so he's just going to use his command point to keep them from falling apart. And I'm going to do, we'll just make it arbitrary. We're going to use their command point to keep them around, just because, save myself a roll. So at this point, they've got control of 1, 2, actually. Yeah, it's pretty contested at this point. I could probably map it out, but really at this point it doesn't matter. I mean, they're going. Let's say they even get 1 point. We'll just give it to the undead. They're still at 10 points to their 7, and then on the roll off, the undead win, so they get to take an objective off the board. They'll take this one because they actually don't have not control of it, and they're not going to at this point. So we'll just see really quick and top of 5, and I mean even at this point. Even if they claim that objective, there's no way the Necromancer can get over there. He can't escape and run and get past them to take that objective, and then they'll just take it back on their turn. Um, so, this is pretty climactic. It's like it'd be a shame just to leave it sitting there. But really, at this point, the Free Guild Guards still have enough bodies that they're going to just continue to pummel the tar out of the undead. I mean, unless the one casting from the Necromancer is, I mean, he's got Overwhelming Dread. I'll give him -1 to hit, but that's it. That doesn't really change anything because they'll still be hitting and wounding on 3s. And so, regardless, it's pretty much over. There's no way that the undead can get 3 points and deny 0 for the final turn. So, it is going to be a victory for the cities of Sigmar. Otherwise, yeah, really quick, just to finish it out, totally gaffed playing the undead. I'm just going to call myself out on that one. I shouldn't have tossed the Morghasts away like I did. I should have either went ahead and tried to go after the Great Swords and thin them out, or I should have moved my skeletons forward, brought my Morghasts across, maybe do a double charge on the weaker halberds, because yeah, they got a good punch, but they don't have as good of a save, and they probably would have lost a lot more guys and, what have you. But, I mean, the Cities of Sigmar army did fine. I mean, the Great Swords, once again, just did a whole bunch of damage. Once again, they'll get the MVP for their team just because, well, I mean, the Huracan, I mean, his Storm of Shemtek just kept dumping a bunch of damage onto Archon once he got close, but it's 18-inch range, which meant that Archon had to get within range with his spells to cast them, so he was going to take the damage no matter what. I mean, Archon did a ton of damage on his own with his magic, but he completely whiffed his one combat, so, I don't even know which one to even give MVP to for the undead. I mean, the skeletons are holding off against half the army and are still sticking it out, but that's just, you know, just because they have a lot of bodies. And that's only 30 skeletons. I mean, I can't even imagine what it'd be like having 40 of them, another 10 just to throw out more attacks and stuff. But, you know, the lack of buff spells besides, you know, Van Hell's, I mean, really, I feel like makes the undead pretty hard to get rolling. Now, you know, you could give a White King or a Vampire, give them more attacks. You can give constant more attacks, but they only get the +1 to hit for having a character nearby. And when they're hitting on 5s, normally only hitting on 4s, they didn't have as much of a damage output as I was anticipating. So I was actually expecting the Hurricanum to have been dead by this point, but it could also just be due to poor rolls. I definitely had a lot more 1s and 2s this game than I've had in previous games. So yep, so victory for the Cities of Sigmar. I'll clean this up, rearrange the board, and get the ogres back out here to battle against ARKHAN and his um, dead crew. Yeah, so many bodies, all dead over here, or re-dead rather. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Please throw some comments in there, do some likes, maybe a subscription or a subscribe just for, you know, fun of it. And then if you're still watching at this point, just want to throw out there that I put a lot more comments into my videos at the, you know, in the comment section below and here on YouTube. And if you see something, you know, like I see stuff after I'm done recording, I'm like, oh, I should have done this or said that, then I'll throw it in there for my afterthoughts. And so, you know, guys feel bored, have nothing else better to do tonight, go ahead and go peek down there. So, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this other short battle report. Well, definitely was a little bit longer because it actually went to the full 5 turns, technically, even though I just ended on the 4th turn. But we'll see what mission we do for the Ogre versus Nagash or Archon setup. So, in the meantime, guys, have a good night and see you all next time.